create like remake or do parodies of movies and TV shows that came out in 2016. So because quite a lot of like things were recreated, like Ghostbusters, they made it female, and then MacGyver came out again because they obviously had one like years ago. I don't know how many years ago, something like that. But so I was thinking of that because it said you can do like a film, like a short film or a trailer. But I was thinking, because obviously you can't create like a whole movie or like a whole episode, so probably just a trailer of like one episode or a movie. And then they started coming up with like live action remakes of Disney films that were like cartoons. So I was thinking kind of like you could remake a cartoon film that came out in 2016, like Moana, and do it live action. It's like kind of getting ahead of Disney. Amazing. But then I was thinking I'm more of like, I like action films more than I like comedy, like comedies and rom-coms. So they were more of like my style, like superheroes. And then I feel like this was like, to create one is quite a lot to do with like just one person. So I joined up with Gina and Rebecca, and we created like the technology throughout the years and the gender equality, and we're going to do it like film based, so like a short film based kind of style.
So are you going to write scripted dialogue almost for like the acting bits to reflect what is being said by them too?
Yeah, because it kind of gets it more into like the kind of film, like a factual film.
So clearly your idea has evolved a lot.
Yeah.
So thinking about, you know, the logistics of reenactments, have you thought about costumes, props and all that sort of locations? Because that's going to be a big constraint to get the aesthetic potentially that you require. So how might you combat that?
So obviously for this it was quite a lot to kind of do as one person, so I joined a group. For props it probably wouldn't take much because you can buy stuff and ask people like in your family that are older if they have things from back then. Just kind of use things that you have, because you can take modern stuff and kind of make it like old fashioned. Like clothes nowadays you can take like a long skirt or a long dress and take it old fashioned.
It's the same as most of the others as well. It feels like you've all got those separate ideas. How are you going to manage that? How do you feel you as a filmmaker is going to manage those three ideas and not turn it into like a, my one's not getting turned into
Well, obviously they have more of like an idea to put into the things. You could kind of put like the genders and the technology, like the genders could use the technology as well, and obviously the equal pay and stuff, and put that throughout the years. So
I don't know if you watched it, but
Thank you.
Back in Time for Dinner, and then they did Back in Time for Holidays, and it was a BBC series that sounds really bland on paper, but actually going back and looking at what they used to eat back in the day, from, I think they started in first from the 50s up until present, and looking into what is potentially going to be our future. Something simple like that might really help show the leap and the jump in time. Or you might want to think about having a narrator actually sort of come in, step out, break the fourth wall, talk a bit to the audience, and then you've got something going on in the background. But I think this idea really is going to be clinched, or it either sink or swim, based on, you know, how you break down each component and meld that together, because it feels like the scope is so vast that you really need to be specific in what you're going to do and do it well.
yeah.
So how are you going to manage as a director? I mean, production, so that's going to be a nightmare if it's just you doing it on your own. So have you thought about the different job roles when it gets to that time?
I was thinking more about doing like sound and lighting, because obviously last Friday I learnt more about the lighting. I could do a lot of sound from the previous projects, so that was more of like something that I could do. And then directing, kind of just spread it out between us so that we could all kind of get our ideas in there, but also kind of like merge it all together.
So I think sometimes that old saying is true, too many cooks spoils the broth. So who is going to be that producer person or that head director that actually makes that decision? Because otherwise it's going to get really complicated and messy. Somebody needs to take, you know, the fall and be the manager or the producer of the group, and somebody also be responsible for that creative aspect. So how are you going to work out compromises and manage those possible conflicts of interest or creativity?
Well, I think we were going to
ambition.
have Rebecca to be the producer because she was producer for the not last project, the one before it for the advert, and the one that she did was really good. And then Gina was obviously the director for that one too, and that was really good. And I think they've really got them job roles down, so they could take charge for that.
Cool. No, I think the only suggestion I would make for costumes is visit the drama department as
Yeah.
soon as you can and see what they've got before you go to the Borough if you can get it and do fittings and stuff like that. Just see what you can get for free, and then if you have to, then get those costumes.
Yeah.
Brilliant, well done.
Well done. Thank you.